Hello, everyone. I hope you guys are doing well. Betrayal League is about to end. I didn't like the mechanic at all, and unfortunately, it's coming to the core game. It's going to be a part of the league. That's kind of unfortunate. But hey, we have about 15 days before Betrayal League ends, and 16 days, or yeah, something like that, before Synthesis starts. Synthesis? Is that how you say it? I don't know. It's like they're trying their hardest to make me break my teeth trying to pronounce words I'm not used to. Anyways, synthesis, I think. Synthesa in Hebrew, much easier. Synthesa, right? So now we all learned. So Synthesa League is about to start, and Betrayal League is just ending. And just before it ends, I made a new power build for you here. Character name is mosesPlays. Another Castwell Scion, bunch of typos. I know. It's just that there's a cap limit of, character limit, and there's only so many letters you can have. So the idea was to make mosesPlays another Castwell channeling sound because this is our second Castwell channeling of the league. These stabs are just so much fun. And this time around, I chose to go with Flameblast and with Volatile Dead. So let's get to it. Basically, Flameblast is an expanding circle of fire that will discharge a huge explosion when you release. So you stack. If you look over here, you'll see the number of stacks. See, it rushes up to 10 and then it explodes. When you're out of mana, you cannot channel anymore. It will auto explode at 10. You don't have to release. So see, it goes up to 10, and then when you release it, when it goes up to 10, you run out of mana, it automatically explodes. So while you're channeling, you're going to get the Volatile Dead. So Flame Blast will increase damage per stage. So 10 stages is what you want to get as quick as possible. So we invest a lot in faster casting for this build. And then while you're channeling your Flame Blast, Volatile Dead will explode. Now Volatile Dead, the way that it works is it will explode off of corpses, Volatile Dead. It has two parts for the damage. The first part is an explosion. The corpse explodes, dealing area damage, and based on 3% of the corpse max life. And the second part is a fireball that will be coming out of the corpse and be targeted, auto-targeted towards a nearby enemy. So it will kind of like, yeah, it's just auto-target, and it's awesome. So you don't have to aim or anything like that. It's just massive flaming balls everywhere. They're just chasing monsters and killing everything around you. Feels amazing, and I don't know how I let this awesome spell kind of like go off my radar, because I don't know, I think I heard a lot of people talk about it. I never really, I don't really watch what other people do. I kind of like do my own thing, and we got to this spell at the end of Betrayal League. I think it was out since like 3 leagues ago. I don't know, maybe an incursion, maybe even before incursion. So the spell has been around for quite some time, just never got around to play with it. And with the current setup, with the Castwell channeling, it feels actually quite amazing, very, very powerful. So highly recommend. So we got our Flame Blast, we got our Volatile Dead, and that's how these spells work. So yeah, we also have a Shaper Staff that has the more spell damage off of Etheric Fossils, and the Castwell channeling off of Shaper, being a Shaper Staff, can roll that. We isolate these two mods. It's kind of an expensive process, but if you just have the Castwell channeling and multi-mod, it's just as good. Okay, so if you just have an isolated Castwell channeling and not the more spell damage, the more spell damage itself is a prefix. You can add, anything else like Flat Fire or whatever, any other prefix that will suit the build instead of more spell damage, and you're good to go. The build will work just as good. But if you got the monies, I basically paid for the non-multi-modded version of this staff 6 Exalted Orbs. So it's not that big of a deal, end of the league, but that's the staff I'm using. So multi-modded with the extra spell damage and the extra chaos, non-chaos, extra chaos, Cast speed is important and chance to deal double damage. This is the staff that we use. I think it's identical to our Winter Orb Ice Spear. Very, very similar. The links are Flameblast, Volatile Dead, Faster Casting, Combustion, Immolate, Increased Critical Strikes. Alternatively, for single target, you can get rid of Faster Casting and use Hypothermia. We got several sources of chilling our enemies in this build, and everything will always be chilled, so Hypothermia will give 39% more damage with hits and ailments for supported skills against chilled enemies. So it's basically like having Control Destruction or Elemental Focus without any drawbacks. It's just a big 40% more multiplier. But for the sake of mapping, I'm using Faster Casting, is just fine. Other links are Arcane Surge, Power Charge on crit, and Ice Bite on a utility Orb of Storms that will generate our Arcane Surge, which is more spell damage, more cast speed. Pay attention to the cost of Arcanes of your Orb of Storms. You want it to proc your Arcane Surge in one cast. Alright, it will last 4 seconds. You want to drop your Arcane Surge, your Orb of Storms, and you want it to proc on one cast. So whatever it costs, just level it up all the way to... See, here it says 41 mana with supported skills. This cost me 44 mana. I'm good. So Arcane Surge number needs to be less than how much it costs in your tooltip. Alright, 41, 44, that's less, we're good. Outside of that, Power Charge on crit, so we generate our Power Charges, and Ice Bite to generate our Frenzy Charges, and to add Chill to your Orb of Storms, so everything is chilled, so you could use Hypothermia if you wanted to. This is the 4-link setup right here. Cast when damage taken, Enfeeble, Vortex, and Immortal Call. Cast when damage taken is level 3, Enfeeble is level 7. Vortex, whatever, and Immortal Call level 1. Alright, just a standard defensive setup, and the Vortex again chills over here. What else? A 4-link Flame Dash, Faster Casting, and I guess summon Lightning Golem because it's here. So we could use that, and Blood Magic. The reason why I put Blood Magic is because Flameblast costs a bunch of mana, and we sometimes have issues with our mana, so I don't ever want to be in a situation where I'm, without Blood Magic. I don't want to ever be in a situation where I'm without Blood Magic and I'm casting my, I'm running out of mana. Like I'm flame dashing towards the next pack, and I'm dropping my Orb of Storms, and then I don't have mana to actually cast my spell. So Blood Magic in this case I'm using with my Flame Dash. This doesn't have to be linked to my summon Lightning Golem. Lightning Golem because I value faster cast speed, but honestly 9% cast speed, it's never going to be up. The Golem will always die. I really don't like Golems. They will always die. I just had a free link, happened to be blue, decided to shove it in there. Whatever. 10 chaos gem. So faster casting, Blood Magic, and some Golem here. Desecrate and Spell Totem in a 2-link setup. This will create corpses. Now you could use what's the name of that skill? Unearth. I was using it. Basically Unearth creates corpses as well, Bone Archers or whatever, but the thing about it is that at level 21 it will create level 81. See, it says create corpses with level 81, while Desecrate will create corpses that are level 100. At this point it's level 77. It will level up to 20 and it will be 100. Alright, right now it's level 18, so level 100 is larger than 81 last time I checked, which means more HP, which means the 3% that Volatile Dead explode off of is going to be higher. So Volatile Spell Totem and Desecrate, and over here we just got Righteous Fire, increased duration, which is as well a Vile Righteous Fire for the big more spell damage. Can you see that? Yeah, so the last line says grants 38% more spell damage while the buff is active, so increased duration, Vile Righteous Fire, it's a big, big, beefy, more spell damage for everything that we do. Flameblast, Volatile dead. And over here I just got Herald of Ash and Anger. Now, I'm running Anger and Herald of Ash. If you feel like you're dying, you can really kick Anger. Next league, they're going to buff Anger. Right now, the damage numbers of Anger are really, really low. Like, just for comparison, 74 to 118 damage, like flat fire damage with spells. It's almost as much fire damage that I'm getting from this Temple mod. Alright, so it's like not even good. Honestly, it's not even good. So what you could do is kick Anger, and then you have 50% reserve, which obviously is a choice you could make, and then get into Mind over Matter. And if I have a feeling that, you know, I'm having trouble with surviving, which currently I'm not, and I've been grinding tier 16. We just lost the Elder Influence here. It's kind of a bummer. We had an Elder Influence, Elder Shaper I was rotating. Maybe in a couple maps we'll do it. And yeah, I've been grinding tier 16 maps, juiced up with Sextants and Breaches. I've been doing just fine. I barely died. I died 6 times with this character. We're level 91. And a couple of times were just because I was fat fingering Y instead of Val Flameblast, which is T, and I just kind of like got confused and died. Like legit, it happened 3 times. It takes a little bit to get used to a new build, I guess, and keys and all that, all the keys and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I failed derped a couple of times, and you know, like, so the character hardly ever dies in this type of setup that I have on tier 16 juiced up maps. So we're doing just fine. The damage is ridiculous. But if you have some trouble surviving, it's a choice you can make. Just get into Mind over Matter and not use Anger, which is what I currently use. Herald of Ash does wonders. I believe, you know, with the more fire damage and more spell fire damage and all that stuff, I believe it even gives more than a 50% reservation for Anger. They are going to buff Anger next league. This is level 21 even. It's ridiculously bad. But it does enable having Anger, and while having Anger, we could use a Watcher's Eye, which is what I'm using, 15% fire while affected by Anger, and of course we're dealing mostly, vastly, fire damage for both. Volatile dead, as you can see, up to 13k fire damage, some damage as chaos because of the staff mod, but for the most part we're dealing fire damage, and we're getting that 15% further fire penetration. I believe we went through all the gems and I explained everything, so let's get into, and the gear, so let's get into the Ascendancy. We are a Scion, the classic Elementalist, and Raider. As Raider, we always have Frenzy charges and Onslaught, which is huge for us because much cast speed is very good for our build, and movement speed, Onslaught, and all that stuff, and of course more damage frenzies, while bossing, which is very important, because a lot of times you make a character and it feels good while mapping, and then you don't have a way to generate your Onslaught, your frenzies, and you're kind of like relying on flasks. So a character like this, cast while channeling with Raider, is feeling just amazing. It gives you 10% movement speed. Can you see it? I don't know. I think you can. No. Okay, let's look at like this. So you get the 10% movement speed, you get the small chance to dodge, Onslaught, and maximum frenzy charge against rare or unique enemies. So there's that, and of course the Witch. I mean, the Elementalist, elemental penetration, immune to reflect elemental damage is all that we need. Increased effect of heralds, additional golems, we don't really care. Shocks, we don't really care. But yeah, Path of the Witch, we take the juicy stuff off of, you know, Scion, which I love because it gives you 28 all resist, which makes it very easy to gear up. Over here we got our unnatural instincts that give us all the crit multi, these 2 small life nodes, 9% movement speed, all the spell damage, and even the cast speed over here from unnatural instinct. So it's insane for a build like this. That's why I always think that Scion is just straight up better than Witch for a cast while channeling type build, but or Inquisitor or anything else. These two So much utility, and the accessibility for the center of the tree, all the life, the resist. This is just a beautiful kind of setup. I actually made a video about that, talking about, you know, pros and cons. And then for the rest of the tree, we are Witch. I did go through the cast speed nodes over here. We picked up Amplify of Templar. I don't know about Blast Radius. It's 3 points and we're already level 91. So I'm not entirely sure about that. But yeah, we do have the crit, the staff crit. It's global rolls, so we have crit chance, and big crit multi here. While wielding a staff, these are all global rolls, so they work for spells and attacks. Quick recovery, life, just life, spell stuff, more life, crit multi, crit for spells, shadow crit, and life, this life circle over here, some more life. Acrophase Acro is huge, it's basically our only defensive, as well as, you know, some damage reduction off of Wise Oak and stuff. Some fizz damage reduction here on the helmet is pretty nice, I don't know if I mentioned. And some more life. For the rest of the jewels, I went with just I believe, yeah, I bought 3 jewels for this build. Some cast speed, some life, some crit multi, increased damage over here. Some cast speed, some life, some crit chance, some cast speed, some life, some crit chance. They each were about 1 exalt. So these are the jewels that I went with. And I actually crafted this jewel for the belt. Fire damage to spells, I believe it's a tier 2. No, it's a tier 1. It's a tier 2 fire damage to spells while holding a two-handed weapon over here, just pretty sick. Life roll, and I exalted for the first time in 50 exalts something useful, which is that cast speed roll that you see over here, and divided a couple times, got nice values on these, and yeah. So this is the character. We talked a lot. It's time to get to the gameplay. Let's pick up a Jungle Valley map because that's what we've been farming, tier 16. And yeah, so the way that it works, let's run a cartography scarab because we have them. And everything goes to standard anyways. And yeah, so the way that it works is what you do is you basically at first when you start, when you're near a pack of monsters, you drop your Orb of Storms to start getting leech. It's very important for you to be able to get leech. You know, as the first thing. And then once you have, you know, once there's corpses, the Volatile Dead will just take care of everything. And also we have a very nice thing happening here with yeah, that's Val Righteous Fire, Val Volatile Dead. Sorry, Val Righteous Fire and Val Flameblast just basically destroyed that red beast one shot. And yeah, you can see it's fun times. There's a breach, dropping the totem, just absolutely destroying everything. Very, very smooth. Very smooth indeed. It's probably one of the strongest builds I've ever made. And I can't wait to test it against Uber Elder. It's been a lot of fun just putting this entire build together. And I was happy that I was actually able to find, you know, like fossils and stuff was pretty easy. I don't know, end of the league, I guess not too many people are shopping. So it was pretty easy to just buy 100 fossils, like pristine fossils for the helm, or scorched fossils for the helm, for the belt. So the resonators, everything was really smooth. As a matter of fact, it took me about 2 hours to put this entire character together. Maybe I'll upload that to YouTube, how I made this character, because it was like kind of short. I had the staff and I crafted the gloves like previously, but everything else, I basically, it all happened in about 2 hours or so. It took me 2 hours to put this entire character together, and it went very, very smoothly. I hope that Volatile spawns here, so we can Flameblast his face. I mean, you can see the Flameblast Righteous Fire against the boss later, and maybe you saw the red beast just instantly yeah. So, yeah. It's kind of just ridiculous because like nothing really hits you. That's why I'm thinking maybe this build I'm actually reserving this way. Like alternatively, could also reserve like aspect skills, aspect of the spider, aspect of the crab, maybe even for additional fist damage reduction and slow instead of anger. If you can manage to put it on your gear, I think it's very good. Like a little bit of extra mitigation. Because anger, I don't know. I don't feel like it's doing too much. Fire pen 15% is good, but if you consider everything else that we get, look, we are witch, right? So we get 10% fire pen off of witch. And then we get Wise Oak, which is 15, so that's 25, and then we get Combustion, which is 19. You know, so that's like 44% fire pen. So the additional 15% from you know, from 44 to 59. I mean, obviously it makes a difference, but it's not like that huge. At a certain point you're like, okay, you know what I mean? Anyways, it's gonna happen quickly, but check out the tier 16 boss is gonna pop, and we're gonna pop it with Righteous Fire and where is it? Okay, you ready? It's dead. Oh no, I derped. I actually didn't press the right buttons at the same time and I wasn't using my flask. Anyways, so basically it gets wrecked instantly. In most cases. Up until exactly this video. This was the build. Hopefully we have an Uber Elder for you if you're interested in the skins for some reason. I have this thing, some Dragon Hunter stuff, some Fire Gloves, and a Forge Lion Pet, basically, and a Dragon Hunter character effect somehow. And I'm using the Delve Portal because I never used it before. I think it looks pretty cool. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching. This build is kind of awesome. In the next few days, we're going to farm with it and do some Uber Elders. I hope it's going to go well, and maybe we'll have some time for one last build. I'm just going to tease it. We have this bow that I, you know, perhaps am planning on maybe making dexterity stacking bow build with like Ice Shot or something. I never played Ice Shot, so who knows? Who knows? Could be pretty awesome if we have the time. But yeah, I found this bow in PoE trade and I just bought it and crafted it, and I think it's gonna be pretty good. So that's just a small tease. I also have this body armor I never played with before, so Feral's Fur. Yeah, so maybe we'll do something with this combo. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you guys on stream. Make sure to follow, sub, and all that kind of stuff. Appreciate the support a lot. Keep the stream alive. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.